Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at Ron Coleman Crystal Mine located in Jesseville, Arkansas. Now, I am recovering from COVID. I got it about 3.5 weeks or so ago. And so today I'm taking my second son with me. And basically he's going to be doing the bulk of the digging while I just kind of sit around and try to take it easy and do a little bit of surface searching and see if I can find anything just from fluffing up the dirt that's in front of me. And hopefully we can find something good. So speaking of which, check out the diamond-shaped window on this quartz piece. Isn't that beautiful? Ron Coleman Crystal Mine is located in Jesseville, Arkansas, which is in the Ouachita Mountains in western Arkansas, just a little bit north of Hot Springs and a little bit west of Little Rock. It's Thursday, June 10th. We are at Ron Coleman Crystal Mine, and this is the entrance. You go up here and you pay in this building. They'll give you a wristband. It'll tell you what day it is that it's good for. And you come down here to this lower parking lot, and there is a wash station. Right over here, there will be two different hoses that you can wash your material with. And back behind me, you go through the gate right here, and there'll be all the tailings piles up there, and that's where we're going to be doing our digging for the day to see what kind of crystals we can find. All right, so here we go. My son already went up there. If you come here, you see this some really kind of orangish dirt. Recommend wearing old clothes that you don't mind getting stained, including shoes and stuff. No white, and yeah, you're going to get filthy. So dress appropriately. Let's go. All right, so my son already took the cart and is heading up here, looking for the fresh dirt. So the fresh dirt's going to be darker. It'll be the more kind of wet-looking dirt. The dirt that's all dried out has been sitting there for a while, so we want the fresher looking material, because that'll be what's just recently dumped. All right, so doing a quick survey. My son's right there, and looks like that's a fresh pile. That's a fresh pile. Older material, fresher pile where they're at, and a lot of older material around here. So we're gonna hit the fresh stuff. It really is beautiful country out here. I highly recommend getting out here if you ever get the chance. One thing to keep in mind when you're out here is that it's a big wide open sky, and which means a lot of sun. So dress appropriately when it comes to headwear. So I'm not really finding them much so far today. This is actually one of my better pieces. I found a lot of clay, a lot of this clay, but there's just nothing in it, just tons of broken pieces. I did see looks like it's got pretty good clarity. Best find of the day so far. So when you're digging, you got to find the shiny. Look for the reflections. So you got a few identifiers. One, the reflection. Two, the shape. You're going to see all these different facets and stuff. Found a small little twin. Looks like it has pretty good clarity. Ripped a hole in my glove. So this is my haul so far. Most of it's pretty junky, but there's some pretty decent points in here. This one here is pretty milky. but still, I got some that are halfway decent. Half of those I just want to keep just to see what they're going to look like after I clean them up some. Since there weren't any new loads being dumped this day, these were piles from the day before and a few days before that. And so people had already walked on top of these piles and packed them down. And so what we wound up doing was just getting a shovel, fluffing up a lot of the dirt so it's a little bit easier to just kind of filter through with my hands. And so I just kind of rake through and just to find anything that might be shiny that could stand out to us. Oh, something shiny. It's just a broken piece. Yeah, for every one that I've kept, I've pitched probably 200. There hasn't been very good stuff here today. Well, we've been here for about 2 hours. We haven't really found too much so far, and I guess they ran 3 loads yesterday, and I don't know if they're going to run any loads today or not.
She's known it, and she slurps it off because he does. He says, that's because I've been paint on it.
Hey, again, what I found a lot of are this broken kind of milky pieces of columns and stuff. So you see a facet, you got a side right there, and so that catches your eye when you're digging. You see that kind of shiny flat side, and then you pick it up and it's all busted on either side or on all the other sides, and it's not like a complete point. So you'll find a lot of teasers here at Ron Coleman of things that you think might be pretty good. They're actually just kind of junky, not worth keeping, not even B or C quality. So, but you can find some nice stuff here, though, every now and then. Yeah, it's starting to spring. Ooh.
Look at that now. Oh, that's huge. That's huge. Wow. Oh, yes. Wow, you just found that? Just now. That's so nice. Oh my god. Where'd you find it at? I found it over there. Oh, that's a good spot. Yeah. I bet you'll find more. Thank you. Hope you find some too. Look at that.
Just pulled this out. It's starting to rain on us a little bit.
I didn't throw it, please.
Here, Sandra. Sandra, this is for you.
So by this time it was just a little bit after lunch, and I was feeling really fatigued, very weak, and still had some brain fog. So I did one last little panorama shot as best as I could, and we decided to go ahead and call it a day and make the long drive back home. So let's take a look at some of the finds that we have. These right here have already been rinsed off a little bit by one of my sons, and these right here have yet to be rinsed off. So just poured them straight from the bucket into this little container, and we're going to rinse them off and take a look at them. Then when we're done, we're going to rinse, after we finish rinsing everything off, we're going to put it all in a bucket with some iron out. Let it sit for a day out in the sun. Alright, well let's rinse some of these things off and see what we got. The only reason why I kept this rock right here is because of some faces, and I was just curious to see what it looked like all rinsed off. So here's that one larger piece. Has the one nice point on it, but the rest of the piece is just basically a chunk of quartz. Most of the stuff that we got that was covered in dirt that we had our hopes up about was stuff like this right here. There's just a lot of milky chunks where you see a few little flat sides, and when it's covered in dirt you think, well, maybe it's a crystal. Well, it is a crystal, but a lot of it's not really worth keeping. So we've got quite a few little clear pieces like this right here where you're digging and you see something shiny. And they're beautiful in their own right, but they're not points or anything. So quite a few of those. Same with over here, more of the same. Some just broken, chipped pieces. Some are just broken pieces altogether that are still really cool. Excellent clarity. Like some of these. So you can get some good pieces, but you can also get a lot of pieces that really aren't worth much as far as like keeping because of all the damage. That looks like a point right there. I missed that one. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the better pieces that we found after we've cleaned them up with some iron out. This is the first of three that we found that was actually pretty decent sized. All three of them had some pretty good damage on them though. Here's the second piece. This one had a huge face on the one side. It was very pretty. I've always liked the crystals with all the little small crystal attachment growths on the back sides. A lot of those will have rainbows on them and are actually little small double terminated pieces. The third and largest point that we got is actually kind of smoky. Look at it compared to a clear quartz crystal piece right next to it. You see the grayish difference? Do you notice the little white chips there on the corners, like on the bottom left and there on the top now? How they do their tailings piles, they will load them up in the dump truck and then they will dump them out into the big piles. And so whenever the crystals are being dumped or even scooped up with the tractors, a lot of times they'll get the damage on them and you'll find these little chips. And so finding a pristine piece from Ron Coleman can sometimes be pretty challenging because a lot of the pieces will be busted and broken just because of the manner in which they mine the crystals and then dump them out there for everybody to sift through the piles. For some crystals, what looks like it might have damage on the back is actually where they were connected to another crystal, but they broke off. Being a dad to twin girls, I'm kind of partial to crystals like this right here. Each crystal could be pretty unique in how they grow and form. It's pretty neat seeing all the differences between them. This crystal is known as a double terminated tabular, also known as a tabby. I actually soaked this crystal a couple of times over a few days in iron out. I could not get the iron staining out because it's down within the crystals, as with a few of those inclusions. Check them out, they're pretty cool. I actually like the celestial quartz crystals pretty well. Celestial quartz crystals are the ones that look like they have little mountain ranges with several little triangle shapes all over them. They're often double terminated, and this one right here is a tabular. Pretty cool. This quartz point has excellent clarity, along with a few extra little crystal attachments on the backside. We have found several quartz points from Ron Coleman that have these extra windows on them. Some people call them fortune windows. This one here has 2 of them. Really neat. Crystals with these horizontal striations or ridges are known as Lemurian crystals. With all the little growth attachments on the backside of this crystal, it has trapped some of the matrix, some of the dirt that it grew in, there in between those little attachments and the backside of the crystal, leaving those dark lines in there. Here's a double terminated piece. It has a little bit of damage on the one tip. A double terminated piece forms independently, as in it doesn't grow attached to something. Like most crystals, they'll have a column attaching itself to a rock or something like that. But a double terminated piece will form independently, loose, within the pocket. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful evening. God bless.